Hey, Milada. Well, or any CSM. The point of this is that I was going to do a resume review for one of my new clients, and so I'm going to film this while I do it, as a little training session as well. So let's jump in. So remember that a lot of the advice that I give is in milestone number one for a resume. And what I do in the milestone number one is, give me 1 second. What I do in milestone number one is I give them a few tips and then give them my personal resume in order to download and use as a template. So you can see this is Shelby's first attempt. So again, Shelby, just a friendly reminder, Shelby placed her resume in her folder, which we talked about in her onboarding call. So with that said, their first review isn't always going to be the best. And so what I'm actually going to do is I'm also going to include some sort of document that has the tips that I normally write out. And I can send that to you via Slack or create a document and put in the onboarding doc. And so with that said, a lot of times people are going to have the same mistakes. They're not going to have a skill section, right? Like this skill section right here isn't that fat. They're going to have more than one page. They're not going to quantify the impact. And so Shelby actually seemed like she did a fairly decent job, right? Because I can see a number right here. For example, like she did a good job because she's bulking up her most recent experience, which she should do. And so now it's just a matter of cleaning things up. So the first thing that I see wrong, more or less, is she hasn't beefed up this section. So what I mean by that is, for example, I see, and this is where you need to know some tools, but I see like Power BI here, right? Tableau here, right? And so what I would do, again, I don't necessarily like to change things too much. I'd like to just leave comments so that they can see. And I would write something like, oops, make sure to add all tools. For example, I see Tableau and Power BI in your bullets. Overwhelm the skill section because it's the first thing that recruiters see. And so it's actually a very interesting thing. So when they analyze where the recruiter's eyes go first, they typically go here, then they go to the bottom of the first page, and then they go back to the first thing. And so, right, because they want to know they want to know, do you have the tools to do the job? Right? Like, do you match the tools in the job description? How much experience do you have? And then what have you recently been working on, right? So they rarely ever check the space right here. They really only check those three places. And so it's very, very interesting. And then, of course, you can imagine a machine is just looking for keywords. And so, again, putting them here is very important for a keyword. So let's keep going. Next thing I see, I mean, every bullet point should be around like 2 to 3 in order to save. So I'm gonna include that. By the way, keep bullets to 2 to 3 lines. I would say this, and then I can give them like a little example. So for example, I'll take like this and try to cut it. So, and by the way, one thing I really love, I hope you can see this in the recording. If not, please just zoom in. But I would use this formula, use XYZ. And again, all the advice you start giving to people, by the way, as a CSM, it's just going to be the same. So you get to run by these really quickly. Now, granted, the point of hiring the CSM is that it's going to be way better quality than what I'm doing because I go through it very quickly. But in this example, it's like used XYZ tool, to do task resulting in a quantifiable impact, right? And so, and then you can give them an example. Again, I don't want you to do this for every single line, but here we go. So you can say used Tableau to create cost optimization dashboards to provide effective revenue and capacity utilization forecast, allowing the supply chain team to plan for future expansion. This resulted in a revenue increase of 30%. Do you see how it's basically saying the same exact thing? Oh no, did I just delete that? Shit. Okay. Well, let's try that again. Use this formula and keep bullets to 2 to 3 lines. Used XYZ tool to do task resulting in quantifiable impact. And again, it would just be something like used Tableau to create cost customization, providing effective revenue allowing supply chain to plan for future expansion, resulting in a revenue increase, right? So I'm gonna comment so we don't lose it, and then edit it. So you see how it's saying the exact same thing, but instead of her taking up 6 lines in the resume, it's going to take up like 2. And it used Tableau and it says what she did and it gives the impact right here of 30%. This is way, way better. And it allows us to decrease this resume to less than 1 page. And so it's great. And then right here, these two, what's nice is follow same advice as above. Also, don't forget to add tools like Excel in skills and tools section. Right now, you don't have to redo every single bullet point. Now you can. I think that would be much, much higher quality, right? But I'm obviously a little more time constrained. So I kind of, to be honest, I kind of do a half-assed job and I could do a little better. But hopefully you watching this, whoever you are, will do better. So here, let's there's a resume under 1 page. And this is super important. So like, remember the resume is pretty much the first thing or second thing they do. And so if you can get back to them fairly quickly, it's a great start to their program. So KPIs to track turn up call failure reasons. Okay. Put a comment to like bandit calls, blah, blah. And then here, was there a quantifiable impact you can mention, right? Also, can we place AWS Connect to the top, right? So it's fairly easy. So I wouldn't overthink it. So let's keep going on. So let's go to the bottom. And again, this person did a really good job of formatting everything similar to my resume. Other people just have like, boxes, or they'll have like just things that don't really make sense. So she did a good job, put the dates here, put the things here, right? Made it easy for us to really review. Designed the workflow for the data validation and integration process for network access required centers, wrote VBA scripts to automate the process, reducing the time and effort. And throw in a good feedback from time to time. Um, one other thing I'll say is, for example, okay to use this word, but also use leadership words. So, for example, led, initiated, cross collaborated, right? And any other words you can think of too, because basically a lot of times they'll just use the same words: design, created, analyze, right? And she kind of does it here: analyze, design, create. Yeah. So, we want to be able to use more leadership words. You're using a lot of created, design, analyzed throughout. Um, da, 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 da. Another thing that's important is, like, if you need to cut, remember, this is going to be the most important stuff. And so if you need to cut space, I would not be afraid of cutting space, trying to get the resume under one page. So for example, presented my analytic findings and blah, blah, blah. Perform ad hoc. Okay. I mean, this also happened 7 years ago. And so I wouldn't be scared of doing that, right? Just learn a shortcut to strike it, and add erasing due to page length, plus recruiters care more about what you've done recently. However, we're leaving here for now in case space becomes available as you start to um, decrease bullet points up above. Okay, awesome. And let's keep going. To prevent, analyze the data and process to identify the bottlenecks in incident management, slow incident resolution, effective governance. Okay. Any quantifiable here? So a lot of times, and this is important, a lot of times analysts don't know how to quantify their impact, right? They're very engineering, very analyst, a little nerdy, which we love, but sometimes they're not the greatest at like marketing themselves. So what I do is, I have something already preset that I have, like, I slacked it to myself. And sometimes I'll just slack it to other people as well. So try this, right? Like revenue lift, and let me see if I can right. Because people are like, I don't know how to quantify it. It's like, well, try this. How much revenue lift did your analysis do? How much automation and manual hours did you save? Right? Did you decrease churn? How many colleagues used your tool? Right? How much data? How many databases? How many teams did you collaborate? Right? There's all these ways to quantify it. Right? And so when I hear, like, for example, allowing the report on the new data resulting from problem management from revenue, I mean, okay, but what impact did that have? Right? Like, did this dashboard allow us to go from one team having visibility to 20 teams having visibility? Right? Um, this just doesn't make sense here. I'm just going to erase that one. Analyze the operations data to identify chronic issues, identify the teams responsible for the resolution, ensure that process improvement plan, and track the issues over time. for successful resolution. Again, how many issues? What were the issues doing? Right? What were the quantifiable impacts? Stuff like that. And so yeah, I mean, it's too vague. And so once that's done, I'll take it here. I'll go to uh let me stop sharing for a second. I'm gonna go to my Slack channel. And this is what I'm saying, by the way. I tend to like Slack things to myself sometimes, and then pin them. So for example, this is the intro email I usually send to new clients that get onboarded. And so um, I'll send it to you as well. And there's a few other things I tend to write as well. So anyway, I'll probably pin this for my purposes too, actually. Just things that I don't want to lose. But anyways, I'll go to Shilpi here. Hey, Shilpi, just reviewed your resume. Overall, great job. Strong start. Left some comments. Please let me know when to take a look again. Are you on here? No, I'm gonna add you because I want you to see what's going on. And so, anyways, and then I'll be like, by the way, here's my top two advices. Other than let's try to get it to one page. Right. And then I can go here to myself because again, over time, and again, you can make this your own too, right? But over time, you'll kind of see like all the pieces of advice and to, for the most part, be the same. For quantifying impact. And then you can also say, also use this formula for more concise bullets. Use the XYZ tool to blah, 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 blah. Right. I mean, at this point, sometimes I'm typing and then I realize, oh, wait a second, I could just be more efficient about this and copy and paste what I already wrote in the comments. Right. And so boom, 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 and done. Right. And so, and that's it. And you've just done a resume review. Hopefully you will do it better than I do. You will give more examples. You will, the way I wrote out a sentence for them, you will do a better job than I do. But let me know if there's any questions. I hope this was helpful and, wishing you the best. Bye.